How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today I've got another deck profile for you and a fair for you this week. And this one is covering Jyn Erso. So yeah, this one might not be one that's ever been on your radar, or you even consider, or even looked at and thought, nah. Because there are some leaders in this game that are currently with set 1 that you might have looked at and gone, nah, that's trash. And it's probably ones like Jyn and probably IG88 are probably the most common ones out of them, because they're the ones that barely see any play at all. But I did have a little bit of fun playing Jyn for one of my pre-releases for this game when we first at the beginning, and the pre-releases ended up taking it with Jyn. And after doing quite well in the pre-release with it, I thought I'd have a look into it to see I saw it helped with kind of board management, so I thought I'd have a go and try it out. And I have got gameplay of it. If you ever checked out the third episode of my ScrubGames podcast, which was the Star Wars episode, where we had a bit of discussion about the game, and at the end we had a little bit of a one-on-one game, me and Johnny. Then you'll see this in action. It has updated since then. I've changed it a bit, but it's basically the same kind of deck, just with a bit of an update. So if you're interested in Jyn, then feel free to stick around. You can even go down to the description below and check out the deck link to Deck Planet to check out the list if you don't want to go through this whole deck profile. If you do want to understand the list and understand the card choices and what are there, then feel free to continue. So before we get into it, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop, and also by clicking the notification bell, you get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the deck. So we're going to start off with looking at the leader, because Deck Planet has a very handy feature. Remember, Deck Planet is probably one of the best deck builders around for any game, and they do it for different games, even for Dragon Ball and also for One Piece as well. And it just has a very good interface, very easy to use, very beneficial for people using it as well. Some very useful features and stuff like that. One of them is being able to bring up while you're looking through the deck, be able to bring up the lead here, just look at it and kind of see what it does if you get forgetful. So Jyn is one of those leaders. She is the second of the Cunning Heroism, so yellow-white, and while joining with Han Solo, and she is just a rebel. So she trait's got rebel, but luckily for the Heroism trait, you get a load of benefits from having the rebel trait. Rebel is very good if you're a heroic card, because you get a load of benefits, because rebel is the main trait, main supported trait in the heroic side of it. So having the rebel trait also straight away a plus. And nice thing is her stats when she deploys are very good. They're the same as Boba's, where they're 4/7, so very good stats. But she does deploy a little bit later than Boba, deploying as 6 resources rather than 5. So she deploys a little bit later. So if you put some ramp over her using Command, you can get get her out a bit sooner. But outside of that, you just get to her get her out on the board when you get to turn 5. So when she's in the lead area, she's got a nice little ability where it allows you to tap her and then attack with a unit, and then defender, that the card you're attacking, gets -1 power for that attack, so you take less damage from the card you're attacking. So if the card's got 1 power, you take nothing back. If it's got any higher power than that, you take 1 less from whatever is on it. So it allows you to trade board, but then take less damage back, so you survive it a little bit easier, which is very nice. And then when you do deploy, you don't have the same kind of effect, but rather than tap it to do it, it's just while friendly units attacking, a defender gets -1 power. So anything you're attacking once he's deployed gets 1 less power to do a little bit less back. And you have to attack into a unit, like it says here for rules clarification. It's a very nice thing to have in Deck Planet, is rules clarification on some of the cards. Is that if you do use Jyn's leader ability, you must attack with a unit if able, and units must be ready in order to attack. Remember, you can't attack with something rested. There's only one card in the game that allows you to do that, and it basically specifically says on the card. But outside that, if you want to attack with a unit, it has to be readied. So that is basically the leader. So pretty decent in terms of aspects on it. Very good stats when deployed. Nice little effect. It doesn't deploy too late. So that's the lead, and the leader we're going for the aspect combination we're going for is Energy Conversion Lab. So we're going with Command. So we're going with the Cunning, Heroism, and Command for this one. And Energy Conversion Lab is not much more I need to say about this. Everybody's probably seen this, but if you are new, then this is one of the best and most overused bases in the game, because it's one of the rare ones, so it's got less health on it than some of the other bases, which have no effect, but it does have an effect. allowing you to play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand and give it ambush. Now you have to pay the energy. You do have to pay the energy cost for that card you do play, so you not play it for free. You do have to pay the cost of the card, but you give it ambush, meaning you can straight away ready it and attack every unit in the same attack. Which normally when you place an account, unless otherwise stated, it comes in rested, comes exhausted, and it can't attack the same turn. But this allows you to ready it and attack every unit. It can't attack a base, but you can attack when you put its units with it if the card's got ambush, which is very handy. And also, just like on the leader, you got rules clarification going over this and what it means on here as well. So that's our basic leader combination. So we're going for a Cunning command, and we're gonna go for decks. We haven't got too many turn one plays. Like most decks have, like especially aggro decks, they've got a lot of cards you can play on turn one. We haven't got many. We've started off with 3 copies of Colonel Jyn, because for the good side in this way, we don't want to, there's not too many cheap units, especially since they're in set 1. We've got a very limited card pool, but then at least with a double, with 2 different aspects, we've got a bigger card pool than if we were going double. And we're going for Colonel Jyn because it loves a bit of health. And since we've got a low HP base, we kind of want to stick around in the game and not die to aggro very quickly. So Colonel Jyn is a nice one to help you get a bit of healing on as well. So you can play out some units, heal up as well, and even cancel self when it comes to healing. Because its effect is essentially when you play a command unit, so a green unit, you heal 1 damage to your base. And it does include itself just when it's a hyperspace version, kind of reduces down on text, so the text isn't spamming it, which is a nice little feature. There's a very cheap 2 cost. It's got decent stats at 2 free as well. And the other 2 cost unit we've got is Battlefield Marine. And these are at least the 2. We're going for the ground units. So first we do like we normally do. We go for the ground units, then the space units, then the events, then the upgrades. So the next one we got is one of the strongest cheap units for command in the heroic side, being Battlefield Marine. Solid 2 cost that has 3 free stats, so very good stats for its cost. No effect because it's got very good stats, and it's a rebel as well, so it gets a benefit of the rebel support. So for each of those, we can kind of have like a turn 1 play, but it doesn't matter if you don't have a turn 1 play. What you may want to do is find your ramp, and we'll go over what a ramp does in a little bit. So as our cheaper units, then we got to the more expensive units. Like we start going up a little bit, we go up by cost. So next we got is Ezra Brizzer. So this is a 3 cost unit with pretty nice stats as well, 3 damage and 4 health, and has a really nice effect when this unit completes attack. And what it means by when this unit completes attack is when this card attacks and survives that attack. So if you attack into a base, you're obviously going to survive that attack, so it's fine. But if you attack another unit, you need to survive and not die to combat from that unit. Then you get to look at the top card of your deck, and you may play it, discard it, or place it on top of your deck. So, leave it on top of your deck, it says. So this allows you to play cards from the top of your deck, which is quite nice. So if you've got a really nice card off the top of it, and as long as you pay the energy cost, or the resource cost of the card, you can play it out. Or you can discard it if you feel it's a card you don't really want and don't need. Or you can just leave it on there if you think you want to draw into to use next turn. Maybe you haven't got the resources to play it, so you want to leave it on top there so you can draw into it. This was a really nice one, very decent stats for a 3 cost as well, and allows you to play more things, and also once again another rebel to get that support from the rebels. Then we got we got 1 3 cost ground unit as well, and then we got our next one being escort skiff. Now this is where the focus off, because if you've seen the title of the video, it is ambush Jyn, so we're focusing on having a lot of ambush units, so Jyn can come in and with her units ambush things, take less damage back from her effect, and basically control the board a little bit better. So we got escort skiff as one of those, which is a solid 4 cost with a 4/4 stats, and has a nice little effect where you control another command unit. This card gains ambush, so it can come straight in, attack something straight away, and is a nice little unit you can drop just to take something out quickly. So we're focusing more on the command units than we are into the other units like just Heroism or Cunning, because we want things like support skiff and stuff to get that effect to go off to ambush straight away. Then we got Agent Callus being a never card ambush. We're going even higher now, so we haven't got we're going into higher ones because we're going to have some ramps. So you can kind of play these higher costing units quicker. And Agent Callus has built-in ambush. It doesn't need any requirements like escort skiff. But that's ambush, 5 cost, but then it has 4/4 stats, so it's not too bad for stats for its cost. Still too bad. It's quite decent. But then we've got an effect on it where when another unique unit is defeated, because it'd be either yours or your opponent's unique unit, and you can tell when a card is unique, but it has a little star at the beginning next to his name. So if we look at Agent Callus here, he has a little star up here in front of his name, meaning he is unique. So that means you can only control 1 copy of him on the board. So with that effect, if a unique unit is defeated, either yours or your opponent's, you may draw a card, and you can use the ability once each round. So that means you can get 1 extra draw when a unique unit is defeated. So that's quite handy. give you a bit more draw, give you more options. Then we're sticking in the 5 cost. We've got now Wedge Achilles, a little bit stronger because he's a 5 cost with 5/5. Also a Rebel as well, so we're not going full on Rebels, but then Rebels can be supported with the Rebel trait. And this is a nice one where it allows each friendly vehicle unit to get +1/1 to its stats and also gain ambush. So while this is on board, any of your vehicles, so mainly your space units and some of your like ground vehicle units, get extra 1/1 to the stats. So like Escort Skiff would be a 4 cost with 5/5 stats, which is quite nice, and then ambush no matter if a command unit is on board, and just allows you to come in and just help take control more a little bit more, even with things like space units. It'll just help control the space arena a little bit easier with that as well. So yeah, because remember, any vehicles, so it's not just vehicles in space, it's also in ground. So we got like a vehicle here in Escort Skiff. It's got a little trait there of vehicle, and then we've got Steadfast Battalion. This is a very nice one to help like take out big things very quickly by giving it ambush thanks to your base. So you can come into attack straight away, and it's very solid like Wedge at a 5 cost with 5/5 stats. Has overwhelm, so any excess damage you do to a unit, once it takes damage equal to its health, gets passed over into your opponent's base. So any damage goes to your opponent's base, there's damage there. And it's got a nice on attack. If you control your leader unit, then you get to give a friendly unit +2/2 for this phase. Could be itself, could be another unit, but then this allows you to take out anything 7 cost, especially when you give it ambush with that. That's what you normally save your base for. Then we have Rogue Squadron Skirmisher, so going even higher in the costing at 6, and this one already has ambush built in, but can get bigger from Wedge, which is quite nice. So 4 to its power and 6 health, so it's quite bulky, but then doesn't do much, but it can get boosts. And it also has a nice little when played, return a unit that costs 2 or less from your discard pile to your hand, so you can get back a Colonel Yularen if you lose it to kind of like get some more healing on, or Battlefield Marine if you want to have a cheap unit to kind of like bring out. So far all these are free because these are like units we just can't receive because we haven't got much in terms of good options for a low cost, but we want to get ramps so we can put out some of these bigger units and get more benefits from, because we're going to be focused on controlling board. And our last of the ground units is Han Solo, so our most expensive unit being a 7 cost in Han Solo. Also has ambush already built in, so some of these units will have ambush automatically built in, but then some can gain it, like Escort Skiff can gain it itself by having a never command unit on board, whereas Wedge can give some vehicle units ambush that don't really have it, which is quite nice. But then Han Solo comes down 7 cost for 6/6 on stats, which is quite decent, very good. Has ambush, it can attack as soon as it comes to play on another unit, and it's got a nice little effect when attacking. This unit deals combat damage before the defender. I mean, if you take the unit out with Han Solo, so if it doesn't have damage to take the unit out, it won't do damage back because you do damage before, and it'll be taken out by having too much damage on itself. So you got 2 copies of this because it's the more expensive one, and it's one you don't want to get clogged up in your hand early, but we're going to hopefully get some ramp and be able to play some of the other ones quicker, and in later game we can just finish off with Han. Now we go to the space units. So we've got unlike X-Wing, so never 2 cost. We can play turn 1, but in the space arena, so not as strong as, well, same stats as Colonel Yularen, but no skill. So just a 2 cost with 3 health. Only 2 copies of this because we want to kind of like keep the deck to 50 as close as possible, and there are other cards that were a bit better to use. We also got Consortium Star Viper, which is a very good unit at a 3 cost with 3/3 stats. And while you got the initiative, it gives you a bit of healing and restore 2. Remember, with Wedge, you can get this to have ambush and also then boost the stats as well. Then we got Millennium Falcon, another very good unit you can play on turn 2. And this one can come in and attack straight away. Doesn't need to have ambush because it's got an effect where it enters play ready. And it has very good stats, just like Ezra at 3/4. So very good stats on the like heroic Cunning units. But then it has like a little drawback for like being able to come in inactive straight away and attack straight away, with very good stats, in that when you ready cards during your regroup phase, you either have to pay 1 or return this unit to your pay 1 resources or return this unit to his owner's hand. So you have to kind of tap one of your resources before the next round starts, or bounce it back to your hand. So if you're taking damage, you can just bounce it back your hand, so that way the damage is mitigated, but it'd be back in your hand, it's gone off. Or if it hasn't taken damage and you want to kind of get more use out of it, you can just keep it in play. And then we've got Liberated Gunships. It's never a unit, space unit has got ambush and allows you help with the space arena. Builds a 4 cost, 3/4. It's not too bad on the stats, just a little bit more costing than Millennium Falcon. But if you ramp turn 2 and then go to turn 3, into turn 3 with 4 resources, or 5 resources, you can just bring this down and have like an extra energy for something as well, which is quite nice. So those are these space units, and then we've got a ramp being resupply. So our first of our events being resupply. And as you put this card into play as a resource, this is kind of what you want mulligan for, because the sooner you can ramp, so you can play all these nice big things, and you want to kind of like control the board by just constantly ambushing and taking things out, and just taking control of it. So you've got 3 copies, maximum copies, because there's only 3 ramp cards in the game. One of them is in the dark side, which then would get an aspect penalty for Jyn. One is resupply here, and the other one is a double aspect, which requires double command, which is double green, which would once again incur an aspect because Jyn is not green herself. So you've got the only ramp you can get play without the aspect penalty, and it's very handy in just having this out to increase the resources quickly. You also have 3 copies of Waylay, so never you can control the board with if you haven't got an ambush unit and you haven't really got anything to do, nothing in your hand that's able to play because it's a bit too costing and you haven't seen your ramp. You got Waylay to just go bounce, put back in your hand and kind of like hold off being attacked too much early, and even then be able to get things off the board after they paid like a load of energy and haven't been able to use it is very handy because it means they basically use up the turn and they haven't done much with it. We then got Ewing Reinforcement being one of the best rares in the game, and this was a nice handy one because once you get the 7 resources, which hopefully you can ramp to it with, then you get the such a top 10 cards of your deck and play up to 3 units with a combined cost of 7 or less to play each of them for free. So that's why we've got so many different like costing cards. So we've got a fair few 2 costs that go with the 5 costs. So you can bring out the 5 costs and the 2 costs. You can bring out just Han Solo straight off it. You can bring out Ezra and say like a Liberated Attack Ship or Escort Skiff, or you can just bring out just Rogue Squadron or Han Solo. So most of the time, you can potentially get, if you haven't seen many cheap units, you can potentially get 3 off it from like say a Colonel like a Battlefield Marine, something Star Viper, and then a Colonel Yularen, then it'd be on like Hilt 3. Or you can get basically just 2 units, or you can just get 1 depending if you get a really big one. But mostly you can get is 2 or 3 off on this. So you've got 3 copies of it because once you get to 7 resources, hopefully if you've got it in your hand, you're going to spam it down and start playing things from the top of your deck and not from your hand. And then we've got Snapshot Reflexes. I thought this is like quite a nice one where it's a nice little upgrade to kind of boost the stats on some of your cards. So you can take 1 less damage back from Jyn when you attack things. You can kind of like attack straight away and then Snapshot Reflexes allow you to give a bit of a boost and make some of them where they've got okay stats, having a little bit better on the stats is quite nice. Because it gives an extra 1/1 as an effect, or 1 pledge, you can attack with the attached unit. And the last one we got is a last upgrade being Traitorous, allowing you for 5 resources to take one of your opponent's units that costs 3 or less and just take control of it. So if your opponent's, especially with ramp, if you go like turn 1, play out a 2 cost, turn 2 resupply, and turn 3 you can just Traitorous, grab one of their cards, start using it against them, and help take them out the game. And remember, the sooner you get out Jyn, then the sooner you can just make it so you don't have to tap her to then attack with something to get the 1 less. You just always, anything that attacks takes 1 less damage back. And then you kind of want to just keep controlling board and then, and the most of it, and then just start chipping away at damage, but focus on controlling the board so they can't really establish anything. Because one thing with this game is you've got summoning sickness, meaning that if you can, basically if you play something out, it comes to rest unless everyone's stayed or it's got ambush. So controlling the board means they can't really get any attacks off or do anything useful. So controlling the board is the main aspect for this. And this is how, this is what I found with when I was playing the pre-release and used Jyn, was that she was really good for trading board and controlling it so your opponent can't establish anything while you just slowly start establishing things that can help you out. So we've gone for mainly ambush because having an ambush makes very good use of Jyn's ability when she's deployed. Basically, just take less damage back, so you can come in, take something out, and maybe not like die this straight away. Like you can trade like Battlefield Marine to opponent's Battlefield Marine. You win the outcome of that because you take 1 less damage back, or they take the full 3. So that's how I feel it's helpful. Then we do have a side deck, and we got 5 different cards on the side deck, which remember we can have 10 cards in the side. So I've gone, remember for the side deck as well, it's more. Side decks, I feel, are more personal to the person that's playing the deck, so it depends on how you play, like what your meta is, and what somebody played at your locals or the event you're going to, which can all vary depending on region and person. So you could have someone who's more like aggressive in their play style, and a more control focused side deck won't work. So remember, this is the side deck I have for myself. If you want to tweak it up, if you are interested in playing this list, feel free to go ahead and do so, but otherwise you can try it out if you want to. So the first one we got is 2 Pirate Starfighter. I feel this is quite a handy one because, like with Wedge on board, you can give this ambush, and it's got raid 1, meaning when it attacks, it gets an extra 1 power. And it's a really handy one if you have any ambush cards that have taken damage, you can get them back in your hand with Pirate by playing it, because it's one played. Return the friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. I mean, you have to do that when played, so you can't play it on its own because it bounces itself back. But if you've got something on board that's like, say, like traded, taking damage, you can bounce back to your hand and have it so it's out of the way, safe again. It can be played back again, and if it's got ambush, allow you to ambush again. While if you've got Wedge on board, this also gains ambush to help control with the space arena, and it's quite bulky as well with four health. And on the 2 cost, it's pretty nice stats. It's just that is when played, it's kind of what holds it back. But I really like this card. I feel it could be very useful for certain decks. Just need to get more use and kind of test out a bit more. This is a very nice one I like for the future of the game as well. We've also then got 2 home ones, so never like higher costing you can get out, and once again with Wedge on board becomes a little bit stronger in 1/1, and also can gain ambush. So turn you play it down, can whack something, can take it out. Also gives you a bit more healing as well, because that's one nice thing with Command is you get a fair bit of healing in it as well, because it gives you resource 2, so when it attacks, you heal 2 from your base. And once on board, every other friendly unit you have gains restore 1, allowing to heal 1 damage every time it attacks, even your leader. And also it's got a nice little ever effect where when played you can play a heroic unit from your discard pile that costs 3 less. So you can play one of the cheaper ones like Ezra, Millennium Falcon, stuff like that out for free, or some of the other ones that are lower costing for free, or you can play some of the higher costing ones if you've got the energy to go with the 8 pay for this to bring it out. But normally you're going to bring out some of your lower costing ones like Battlefield Marine, Ezra, Millennium Falcon, or the X-Wing out for free from it, so you can then either give ambush from a space unit, or just have Millennium Falcon attack straight away, or just have Ezra out ready to use the next turn. So 2 copies of these, so if you're playing against aggro, you can kind of like get that healing on to help you survive the beginning onslaught. Because you'll take a bit of time taking damage while you're controlling the board and managing the board. Then later on, you can start healing up the damage you've taken early to kind of start that kind of recoup and take back control. Then we've got 3 copies of Spark Rebellion. I feel this is a very, very nice card. And point out to my buddy, Big Notation. That is a very nice, good card against control. It's very, very good side, because if you play more to control decks like the like blue, like dark, villainy blue and stuff like that, where they go into later game, they start playing things like Super Laser Blast to take cards out, or you got some decks like the Vader and like Control Vader and stuff like that that have a load of good event cards they can use to take out. Well, Spark Rebellion is a really handy one with to get when they're getting close or about to go into their 8 energy play, and they're holding that Super Laser Blaster to take out your board. You can just play out Spark Rebellion, look at the hand, and just rip whatever card you want out of it. So if you can, like before they get to 8 resources, or when you get to 8 resources but you got an initiative, you can always just play it out, look at their hand, rip out that Super Laser Blast, and now they can't nuke your board. Now they're in a bit of a pickle. I'm only 3 copies of it because it's a very good handy card for control. And even then, if you're like going to the late game and not playing much, or you haven't got anything to play and it's turn 1, you can always look at the hand, kind of rip some cards out of him, maybe take out their turn 1 play, and just helpfully just hold off until you ramp enough to start playing your bigger things. You also then got Bamboozle, so this is a nice handy one to give you a bit of control, and also allow you to deal with cards that have like, well, decks that put a lot of upgrades on a single card, like my own Churro deck and stuff like that, or like other decks where they put a fair few upgrades, or like annoying upgrades on cards that give a card a huge boost in protection. You can use this to kind of like rest it and put that those upgrades back in the hand. Because I've seen, my own Churro deck that kind of puts a lot of upgrades in the lead, and even like I've seen Chewy decks that put a load of upgrades on the lead as well to boost it up. And then we got the last copy of cards that kind of one to help take out bigger threats, because you don't. It's more about controlling board. It's like the good side doesn't have things like Overwhelming Barrage where they can start like taking out things without the need of attacking by using effects. So you've got Strike True being a higher costing event, but allows you to allows a friendly unit to deal damage equal to the power of an enemy unit. And you kind of have this on Command, which would have been a nice one to have in there, but you don't pay 6 for a ramp. But the problem with Command is it doesn't hit what's it called, unique units. So Command can help like allow something to do damage. One of your units do damage to another unit equal to its power, but can't do it to unique units because it's non-unique. Whereas Strike True can do it even to unique ones. If you want to take out a leader or a card that's unique, that's quite big. You can use this to do it, whereas Command wouldn't. So that's my side deck for it. I probably might need to tweak it a little bit as a test this, but I do want to do a bit more testing with Jinx. I feel it could be quite useful. But this is my sign for now. So that is it for me today. So as a never deck profile, we'll have a mature deck later on this week. Probably see it on, I think now Friday. I think you'll probably have it out on. So if you want to have look out for that, then feel free to do so. But that is it from me today. Thank you for watching. Hope you've been enjoying the daily Star Wars content, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.